thevoicebeforethevoid.net. Introduction to The Enormous Room by E. E. Cummings. Read by The Voice Before the Void. Don't be afraid. But I've never seen a picture you painted or read a word you wrote. So what? So you're 38? Correct. And have only just finished your second novel? So-called. Entitled E-I-M-E. Right. And pronounced A as in A, me as in me, accent on the me. Signifying? Am. How does am compare with The Enormous Room? Favorably. They're not at all similar, are they? When The Enormous Room was published, some people wanted a war book. They were disappointed. When A Me was published, some people wanted another enormous room. They were disappointed. Doesn't The Enormous Room really concern war? It actually uses war to explore an inconceivable vastness, which is so unbelievably far away that it appears microscopic. When you wrote this book, you were looking through war at something very big and very far away. When this book wrote itself, I was observing a negligible portion of something incredibly more distant than any sun, something more unimaginably huge than the most prodigious of all universes. Namely, the individual. Well, and what about am? Some people had decided that The Enormous Room wasn't a just war book and was a class war book. When along came A Me, aha, said some people, here's another dirty dig at capitalism. And they were disappointed. Sick. Do you think these disappointed people really hated capitalism? I feel these disappointed people unreally hated themselves. And you really hated Russia. Russia, I felt, was more deadly than war. When nationalists hate, they hate by merely killing and maiming human beings. When internationalists hate, they hate by categorizing and pigeonholing human beings. So both your novels were what people didn't expect. A Me is the individual again, a more complex individual, a more enormous room. By a, what do you call yourself? Painter? Poet? Playwright? Satirist? Essayist? Novelist? Artist. But not a successful artist in the popular sense. Don't be silly. Yet you probably consider your art of vital consequence. Improbably. To the world? To myself. What about the world, Mr. Cummings? I live in so many. Which one do you mean? I mean the everyday humdrum world, which includes me and you and millions upon millions of men and women. So? Did it ever occur to you that people in this so-called world of ours are not interested in art? Da. Isn't that too bad? How? If people were interested in art, you as an artist would receive wider recognition. Wider? Of course. Not deeper. Deeper? Love, for example, is deeper than flattery. Ah, but, now that you mention it, isn't love just a trifle old-fashioned? I dare say. And aren't you supposed to be ultra-modernistic? I dare say. But I dare say you don't dare say precisely why you consider your art of vital consequence. Thanks to I dare say my art, I am able to become myself. Well, well. Doesn't that sound as if people who weren't artists couldn't become themselves? Does it? What do you think happens to people who aren't artists? What do you think people who aren't artists become? I feel they don't become. I feel nothing happens to them. I feel negation becomes of them. Negation? You paraphrased it a few moments ago. How? This so-called world of ours. Laboring under the childish delusion that economic forces don't exist, eh? I am laboring. Answer one question. Do economic forces exist, or do they not? Do you believe in ghosts? I said economic forces. So what? Well, well, well. Where ignorance is bliss. Listen, Mr. Lowercase Highbrow. Shoot. I'm afraid you've never been hungry. Don't be afraid.